The galaxy cast them out, but humanity took them. He had traveled through this part of space many times before, but tonight felt different. The sensors picked up a faint signal, one that did not belong to any human ship. It was weak and broken, but it carried the unmistakable trace of life. "Captain, you need to see this," Lucas Grant, the ship's pilot, said. He pointed to the screen. A drifting convoy appeared, battered and moving slowly. Ethan squinted at it. He could see the strange shapes of alien ships, thin and elegant but scarred by damage. The convoy seemed abandoned, yet life signs flickered faintly within. "What species?" Ethan asked, leaning closer. "Kelari," Lucas replied. "At least that's what the database shows, peaceful type, always careful, but the Galactic Council cast them out months ago." "This is their fleet." Ethan's stomach sank. The Kelari were blamed for a war they did not start. Rumors spread quickly through the galaxy, and the Council had decided they were dangerous. It was easier for the powerful races to exile them than to face the truth. Ethan had read the reports, but seeing the convoy drifting, empty and vulnerable, made it real. These were not dangerous warriors, they were survivors. "We can't just leave them there," Ethan said firmly. "Captain," Lucas said carefully, "we're not authorized. If the Council sees us helping them, there will be consequences. Sanctions, fines, maybe worse." Ethan shook his head. "We are humans. We do not leave life to die because someone else says so." He turned toward the small med bay. Emma Carter, the ship's medic, was organizing supplies. She looked up as Ethan entered. Her dark hair was tied back in a messy ponytail, and her hands were already covered in gloves. "You found something?" she asked, noticing the urgency in his voice. "Kelari convoy," Ethan said simply. "They are damaged, drifting, and they are alive. We're taking them in." Emma's eyebrows rose. "We can't just fly into their space. The Council could detect us." "I know," Ethan said, "but if we do nothing, they will die. We are going." The three humans prepared quickly. Supplies were packed, medical kits checked, and communication devices calibrated. Ethan felt the familiar rush of fear mixed with purpose. This mission was illegal by galactic rules, but he could not ignore it. As Horizon approached the convoy, the first alien ships came into clear view. The Kelari hulls were a pale blue, smooth and thin like glass, but scarred with burn marks. Some ships had broken antennae or holes in the surface. The convoy drifted slowly, almost helplessly. Suddenly a signal came through. It was weak, broken, and sounded almost like a cry. Ethan's heart tightened. The life signs were real. There were hundreds, maybe thousands, trapped in these ships. Lucas kept the horizon steady while Ethan monitored the readings. "I've never seen anything like this," Lucas muttered. "They are completely powerless, no weapons, no shields, it's like they were abandoned." "That's exactly what happened," Ethan said. "The galaxy turned its back on them. We are going to fix that." As they moved closer, one of the Kelari ships suddenly shifted. A small craft detached and slowly approached Horizon. Ethan felt a mix of anxiety and hope. From the open hatch, a Kelari emerged. It was tall, with translucent skin that reflected the light of nearby stars. Its eyes were wide and dark, almost liquid in appearance. It floated toward the humans with cautious curiosity. Emma stepped forward, holding out a med kit. "We are not going to hurt you," she said softly. Her voice was calm, gentle. The Kelari's gaze lingered on her hands, then it extended a thin, fragile limb. Ethan noticed it trembled slightly, as if unsure whether to trust them. "It's okay," Ethan said. "We are humans. We help those who are hurt. You are safe here." Slowly, the Kelari climbed aboard. It moved awkwardly in the gravity of the horizon, making small noises that sounded almost like sighs. Ethan watched closely. The Kelari's appearance was fragile, but there was intelligence in its gaze. It did not speak, but it communicated a strange mix of fear and relief. "We need more," Ethan said. "Bring the others in, quickly, before the patrols notice us." Lucas nodded. He maneuvered Horizon closer to the convoy. One by one, more Kelari emerged. Some were weak and injured. Others were silent, watching the humans carefully. Ethan directed Emma to tend to the injured while he and Lucas helped guide them into the ship. The horizon became crowded quickly, but everyone moved with care. There was no panic, only quiet cooperation. As the last of the Kelari were aboard, Ethan took a moment to look around. The med bay was filled with groaning and sighing aliens. Human crew worked tirelessly to stabilize the wounded. Lucas checked the sensors. "They are safe for now," he said. "But we have to move. Council ships could arrive any time." "We will take them to the outer settlement," Ethan said. There we can hide them and care for them properly. The galaxy may have abandoned them, but we haven't. The journey was tense. Every star looked like a potential threat. Ethan spent hours monitoring the convoy from Horizon, ensuring that no council ship approached. The Kelari, though quiet, began to observe the humans more closely. Some moved toward Emma, letting her examine wounds. Others hovered near Ethan and Lucas, curious about their behavior. There was no fear in their curiosity, only a desire to understand. Emma whispered to Ethan one night, "They have never been treated kindly. They are afraid of authority, of orders, even of our gestures." Ethan nodded. "That is what makes this right. We are giving them a choice for the first time in their lives. No one can force them here. They came because we offered help." A small Kelari child moved toward Ethan one day, reaching out a delicate limb. Ethan knelt and offered his hand. The child hesitated, then touched it gently. For the first time, Ethan felt a true connection. This was not just a rescue mission, it was the start of something larger. The journey continued for days. Horizon moved slowly through unpatrolled space. Ethan and Lucas took turns navigating and scanning for threats. Emma tended to the wounded constantly. The Kelari slowly began to relax. They shared simple gestures of gratitude, a tilt of the head, a touch on the arm, or a soft hum that resonated with their feelings. One night, while stars streaked past the observation deck, Ethan spoke softly to the Kelari elders who had come aboard. "You are safe now," he said. "We will take you to a place where you can live freely. No one can make you leave if you do not want to." The elders listened silently. Their eyes were wide, filled with emotions that Ethan could not name. They were strangers in a galaxy that had turned its back, yet here were humans who offered no demands, only help. It was a concept unfamiliar to them, yet deeply moving. As Horizon approached the outer settlement, Ethan felt a mixture of relief and apprehension. The Kelari had survived this long, but their future was still uncertain. Human settlements in remote regions were often safe, but the galaxy's gaze was long and watchful. Ethan knew this was only the beginning. Lucas turned to him, a small smile on his face. "You really think humans can change their fate?" he asked. Ethan looked at the stars. "We don't change their fate," he said quietly. "We show them that kindness exists, that sometimes the universe will bend for those who are forgotten. Maybe that is enough." As Horizon glided closer to the settlement, the Kelari gathered together, looking at the human crew with cautious trust. They had been abandoned, cast out by the galaxy, yet here, for the first time in their lives, someone believed in them. Ethan watched as they whispered among themselves in their soft, musical tones. He did not understand the words, but the emotion was clear. They were no longer alone. And for the first time in a long time, Ethan felt hope, not just for the Kelari, but for the galaxy itself. Perhaps there were still places where right could triumph over fear. Perhaps humans, fragile and imperfect as they were, could be the light that the universe had forgotten to shine. The Horizon touched down gently on the settlement's platform. Ethan, Lucas, and Emma prepared to welcome the Kelari to their new home. The aliens floated carefully toward the surface, stepping into the strange, unfamiliar world. Some hesitated, but Ethan extended a hand. The first Kelari took it, then another, and another. The bridge between two species had begun. As the sun rose over the distant mountains of the settlement, the Horizon's engines quieted. The Kelari looked out at the new world with wonder, and Ethan realized that this was more than a rescue. It was a choice to belong, to be safe, to be seen. And in that choice, humanity had already won something far greater than any battle. The Kelari looked around the settlement with quiet curiosity. Ethan Cole watched them closely as they moved among the human buildings. Some floated slowly above the ground, using their delicate limbs to touch walls, doors, and windows as if learning about this new world. Children clung to each other, shy and cautious, while the adults hovered near humans, trying to understand their gestures and expressions. Lily Brooks, a human farmer who had helped build the settlement, stepped forward with supplies. She carried baskets of fresh fruits and simple meals. Her hair was tied back and she wore a worn jacket with pockets full of tools. "Come on," she said softly. "You need to eat." "It's been a long journey." The Kelari elders observed her, unsure how to respond. They had been given food before, but it was always rationed, impersonal, or accompanied by orders. Here, the offering came without expectation. One of the elders tilted its head, then gently took a fruit from the basket. It smelled it carefully, then touched it with a small, fragile limb. Ethan smiled. Small gestures mattered. Emma Carter moved among the injured Kalari, checking wounds and giving simple treatments. She spoke in quiet tones, explaining each step. "This will sting a little," she said, though most of the Kalari had no words to respond. Instead, they made soft musical hums, which Emma interpreted as signs of understanding. Over time, she noticed that the Kalari began to mimic some human expressions, tilting heads, blinking slowly, even smiling in their own way. Outside, children from both species began to explore together. Ethan watched as a human boy named Sammy ran toward a Kalari child, holding out a small wooden toy. The Kalari hesitated, then reached out a delicate limb and touched it. Laughter filled the air, a sound unfamiliar to Kalari ears. They listened, confused but curious. Soon more children joined, running and playing simple games. For the first time, the Kalari felt the strange warmth of friendship. Ava Morgan, a human teacher, started learning their language. She spent hours listening to their hums and syllables, repeating them carefully. She had a notebook filled with attempts at transcription. Slowly, she began to understand simple words, greetings, names, emotions. She taught some humans basic phrases, too, so they could communicate directly. The settlement became a place of quiet study, a bridge between two species. Not all Kalari were comfortable. Some hovered alone, observing from a distance. They had been cast out by the galaxy, judged and punished without reason. Trust did not come easily. Ethan understood this. He often spent long hours talking to the elders, sharing human stories, explaining how humans once faced isolation, too. He told them of Earth's early days, when humans were ignored and underestimated by older, stronger species. The Kalari listened, and slowly comprehension began to grow. Word of the human settlement spread across nearby systems. Other alien species sent observers, some friendly, some wary. They were curious how humans could openly harbor a race that the Council had declared outcasts. Ethan welcomed the observers cautiously. "We do not hide," he told Lucas one day. "We do not need to. Kindness does not break laws, it changes hearts." Lily Brooks worked tirelessly to prepare living spaces for the Kalari. She helped construct simple homes with enough room for families and private spaces. She added touches of nature, small gardens, water pools, and soft lighting that reminded the Kalari of their home planets. Slowly, the Kalari began to move in. Elders hovered near their new spaces, observing the humans' actions with suspicion, but also curiosity. One morning, Ethan walked among the new gardens with a Kalari elder named Vila. "This is your choice," Ethan said quietly. "You can stay, leave, or explore. No one will force you. We only offer a safe place." Vila hovered silently, its eyes reflecting the morning sun. After a long pause, it made a low hum, a sound that Ethan took as acceptance. The first barrier of distrust was breaking. As days passed, the humans and Kalari found common routines. Human engineers taught the Kalari how to operate simple machinery. Kalari shared their knowledge of energy systems and delicate electronics. Small workshops were set up where humans and Kalari worked side by side. Trust and respect grew through shared work, not through treaties or rules. Ethan noticed how the Kalari began to understand human emotions. A Kalari child named Nilu approached Emma one afternoon, holding a small flower. It extended it carefully, watching her expression. Emma smiled warmly. "Thank you," she said softly. Nilu tilted its head and made a small hum. This simple exchange became a pattern. Over time, the Kalari learned that humans were different from the Council's stories. They could be trusted. They could be friends. Despite this progress, there were challenges. Some Kalari had nightmares, haunted by the memory of exile and betrayal. Ethan and Emma worked together to comfort them. They created quiet spaces, filled with gentle light and soft music, where Kalari could rest without fear. Human children sometimes joined, sitting quietly, offering the comfort of presence without words. This gesture, small but powerful, taught the Kalari that companionship could heal old wounds. One evening, a human patrol ship arrived nearby. Lucas scanned the vessel carefully. It carried council markings, but no weapons were drawn. A diplomat named Noah Price stepped forward to speak with Ethan. He was calm and composed, but firm. "The council knows you harbor the Kalari," he said. "You are in violation of several regulations. You must explain your actions." Ethan met his gaze steadily. "We do not turn away those who need help. These are not criminals. They are refugees. We are humans. We help." Noah looked surprised, as if he expected an apology or excuses. Ethan offered none. Their safety is our responsibility. No one has the right to cast out a living being. After a long pause, Noah nodded slowly. The council will be watching, but your reasoning is clear. I will report it as such. He left, leaving Ethan with a sense of cautious relief. The galaxy was aware of their actions, but humanity had chosen a different path. Over time, humans and Kalari began sharing stories. Ethan told of human history, of struggles and victories. Kalari shared tales of their home world, of oceans that glowed with bioluminescent light and forests where every sound was a song. The exchange was slow at first because language was limited, but the intent was clear. Respect and understanding began to grow. As the settlement flourished, friendships deepened. Lucas spent evenings teaching Kalari children simple games, laughing as they clumsily tried to imitate human movements. Lily Brooks introduced them to small gardens, and Kalari elders taught humans delicate techniques for cultivating plants in low gravity. Together, humans and Kalari discovered that cooperation was stronger than fear. Ethan often walked through the settlement at night, watching lights glow from the new homes. Kalari children ran through the gardens, their laughter mixing with human voices. Elders observed quietly, a sense of calm in their presence. Ethan knew this was only the beginning. The Kalari had been abandoned, but here they were safe. More than safe, they were part of something larger, something built on choice, trust, and care. One day, Vila approached Ethan with a small, translucent object. It glowed faintly. "This is a gift," Vila said, its voice musical, now forming words carefully learned from Ava Morgan. Ethan took it gently. It was a simple crystal, but inside, tiny lights moved in patterns. He understood its meaning: gratitude, trust, and a desire for connection. "Thank you," Ethan said softly. "We will protect you, all of you." Vila nodded and hovered close for a moment, as if resting in the safety of these words. Ethan felt a quiet satisfaction. The Kalari were beginning to see humanity differently. They were beginning to see hope. As the sun set over the settlement, Ethan, Lucas, and Emma sat quietly, watching Kalari children play under the fading light. The stars appeared one by one, distant but constant. Ethan thought of the galaxy beyond, of the council and the laws that cast out the innocent. But here, in this small place, humans had chosen another path. They had chosen to care. And in that care, a seed of change had been planted, not through force, not through rules, but through simple, persistent kindness. The Kalari were learning that not all beings in the galaxy would turn away. Some would stand, even when it was dangerous, and offer safety, trust, and a home. It was a quiet revolution, unfolding in a remote settlement at the edge of space. Humans and Kalari together, learning, laughing, healing. A small step, yet one with the power to ripple through the stars. Ethan watched as a Kalari child ran toward him, holding a glowing flower. He took it carefully and smiled. "This is just the beginning," he whispered. And in the soft glow of the settlement lights, he believed the settlement had grown quieter in the mornings. Kalari elders observed the human routines, while children of both species played together under the soft sun. Ethan Cole walked through the gardens, checking on the progress of the new homes and water systems. For a moment, he allowed himself to believe that the Kalari were safe. But in the distance, sensors picked up a signal that made his heart tighten. A patrol ship from the Galactic Council had appeared near the outer rim of the system. It was small but fast, and its intentions were clear. The Council had noticed the humans harboring the Kalari, and they were not happy. Ethan called Lucas over, his voice calm but tense. "We have company," he said, pointing at the screen. The patrol ship moved slowly, scanning the area. Lucas frowned. "They will demand we hand over the Kalari. We can't hide them forever." "We will not give them up," Ethan said firmly. "We made a choice and we stand by it. Humanity will protect those who cannot protect themselves." Emma Carter joined them, placing a hand on Ethan's shoulder. "They might try to intimidate us," she said softly. "We need a plan." Ethan nodded. He called a meeting with Noah Price, the human diplomat who had observed the settlement before. Noah reviewed communications and council regulations carefully. He spoke calmly. "The council will demand surrender. They will threaten sanctions, fines, and perhaps military action. But your reasoning is solid. Legally, they have no claim once the Kalari are under human protection." "But what if they attack?" Lucas asked. "We are outnumbered." "Then we show them that humanity does not back down," Ethan said. "We will protect the Kalari." That is non-negotiable. The council ship transmitted a message. A voice echoed through the settlement, cold and commanding. Humans of this sector, you are harboring exiled Kalari. Comply and return them immediately or face consequences. You are in violation of council law. Ethan stepped forward, speaking with calm authority. The Kalari are not criminals. They are refugees. We will not hand them over. They are safe here. We will protect them. The council's representative was silent for a long moment. Then the transmission ended. Ethan knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy had sent a warning, and it would test humanity's resolve. Inside the settlement, humans and Kalari prepared for the possibility of conflict. Lucas organized patrols and navigation routes. Ethan coordinated defenses, using what limited resources they had. Emma and other medics set up emergency stations, ensuring that anyone injured could be treated quickly. The Kalari, though pacifists, offered their knowledge of energy systems. They helped strengthen the settlement's shields and repair power conduits. Together, they worked side by side, learning to trust each other in new ways. Noah Price spoke to the council again, trying diplomacy. He explained that the Kalari had been unjustly exiled, and humanity could not ignore suffering. He argued that protection of life was a moral obligation, even if it defied council law. Some council members were skeptical, but others were curious. The news spread across nearby systems. Whispers circulated. Humans were standing against the council, defending a race no one else would defend. One afternoon, a Kalari child named Nilu approached Ethan. "They will return," Nilu said, its voice soft and melodic, forming words it had learned from humans. "Humans are brave." Ethan knelt and smiled gently. "We will do everything we can to protect you. Bravery comes from standing for what is right, even when it is hard." Nilu tilted its head, then floated back to play with human children. Ethan watched the small gestures, realizing that the Kalari were beginning to understand human courage and care. It was not a lesson from stories or laws. It was learned through experience and shared action. As days passed, the council sent more patrol ships, demanding explanations and inspecting nearby systems. Ethan and Lucas monitored each vessel carefully, keeping the settlement hidden from direct observation as much as possible. The tension was constant, but the humans refused to panic. They were determined to show the Kalari that trust and protection were real, not fragile promises. Some Kalari began to ask questions about human history. Vila, the elder, spoke carefully. "Your people have faced threats before?" Ethan nodded. "Yes, Earth was once weak, ignored by older civilizations. Humans struggled, but we survived. We learned to help each other to protect those who cannot protect themselves. It is part of who we are." Vila hummed softly, a sound of contemplation. "Then you are not alone. You share our struggle, even if different." Lily Brooks worked tirelessly to build more shelters. She spoke gently to Kalari families as she worked. "You are safe here," she said. "We will protect you. No one can take that away unless you choose to leave." The Kalari began to understand the importance of choice, something they had lost when the council exiled them. Humans gave them freedom and trust, not rules and orders. One evening, Ethan gathered with the leaders of the settlement. "The galaxy is watching," he said. "They may try to force us, but we cannot back down. Our strength is not in weapons or numbers. It is in what we choose to defend." Lucas nodded. "We can hide, we can protect, but if they attack, then we fight together," Ethan said. "Humans and Kalari side by side. They may underestimate us because they expect fear. We will show them unity." Emma placed a hand on Ethan's shoulder. "And we will care for anyone who is hurt, even them." The council's warning finally came in the form of a small strike fleet, patrolling near the settlement. Ethan and Lucas coordinated with nearby human ships to create a protective screen. The Kalari worked with engineers to reinforce shields and energy barriers. Humans and Kalari moved in harmony, a small army of determination rather than aggression. One morning, the settlement's sensors picked up council drones approaching the outer edges. Ethan called everyone together. "We will not hide," he said. "We will show that we stand together. This is our choice, and it is stronger than fear." Vila, the Kalari elder, floated beside him. "We will help," it said softly, "not to fight but to protect." The council drones scanned the settlement, observing the preparations. They were puzzled. They expected chaos, fear, or submission. Instead, they saw calm coordination. Humans and Kalari moved side by side, tending shields, tending the wounded, tending each other. The strength they observed was quiet, not aggressive, but undeniable. Noah Price transmitted a message to the council. These beings are safe here. Any attempt to seize them by force will be met with resistance. Humanity will not turn away those who cannot protect themselves. That is our law, our choice, and our duty. The council hesitated. For the first time, some members considered that the humans might have a new kind of power, not of weapons, not of fleets, but of values and unity. Whispers of change spread among distant systems. Perhaps humanity's example could ripple across the stars. As night fell, Ethan walked among the settlement. Kalari children played under the soft glow of lights, their laughter blending with human voices. Elders observed from their shelters, a quiet understanding forming. The settlement was not just a refuge, it was a symbol, a proof that even when the galaxy cast out a people, choice, courage, and care could create safety. Lucas joined Ethan, looking at the stars. "Do you think they will leave us alone?" he asked quietly. "They may try to test us," Ethan replied. "But what matters is that we have chosen to protect them. We cannot control the galaxy, only our actions, and our actions have already changed lives." Vila floated up to them, its body glowing softly. "We understand," it said. "We are learning to trust. Humanity is not like the others," Ethan smiled. "And that is why we will survive, not because we are strongest, but because we do what is right." In the quiet of the settlement, humans and Kalari worked together. Shields were repaired, children played, elders observed, and medics moved silently through the homes. Each small act of care strengthened the bond. The galaxy could cast them out, but here, in this small corner of space, humanity's choice had created a place where the abandoned could belong. And for the first time, Ethan realized that bravery was not just about facing weapons or enemies. It was about standing for those who could not stand for themselves, even when the universe itself was against you. As the settlement lights glowed under the stars, the Kalari gathered around humans. Their hums were soft, musical, and full of emotion. A small Kalari child, Nilu, held Ethan's hand and whispered, "We are safe." Ethan squeezed gently. "Yes, you are safe, and we will stay together no matter what comes." The patrol ships lingered in orbit watching. They could not understand the quiet strength within the settlement, the power of trust and unity. Humans and Kalari were not simply hiding. They were standing. They were choosing hope. And in that choice, the first seeds of change in the galaxy were planted. The settlement had grown stronger over the weeks. Humans and Kalari worked side by side, repairing shelters, tending gardens, and strengthening shields. Ethan Cole walked along the main walkway, observing the calm order of daily life. Kalari children played in the gardens, laughing with human children. Elders hovered nearby, watching carefully but relaxed. For a while, it seemed as if the galaxy's threats had not reached this quiet corner. Then the sensors picked up movement. It was not a patrol ship or a drone, but a fleet, a small but heavily armed strike force from the Galactic Council. Ethan's stomach tightened. The fleet moved with purpose, heading directly for the settlement. He called Lucas over immediately. "They are coming," Ethan said, pointing at the screens. "Full approach vector, this is not a warning. They intend to take the Kalari by force." Lucas swallowed hard. "We are outnumbered heavily. Numbers do not matter," Ethan said firmly. "We have something they do not, determination, unity, and people willing to protect the helpless. We will use what we have." Emma Carter joined them, carrying medical kits and organizing her team. "We need stations ready," she said. "Injuries will happen, but we will not back down." Ethan called a meeting with the Kalari elders. Vila, the elder who had learned some human words, floated forward. "We do not fight," Vila said. "Our people only protect life." "Then that is what we will do together," Ethan replied. "We will protect our home, our children, our families, side by side." Lucas and the human engineers worked quickly, reinforcing shields and creating emergency routes. Kalari applied their knowledge of energy systems, adjusting power flows to increase shield strength without drawing attention. It was delicate work, but together they managed to create a layered defense system, enough to delay a fleet and protect the settlement. As the Council fleet appeared in orbit, the humans and Kalari moved into position. Lucas piloted small shuttle teams, moving civilians to safe shelters. Ethan coordinated defenses, while Emma prepared medics and temporary hospitals. The Kelari assisted by using their technology to divert energy and create safe corridors for movement. For the first time, humans and Kelari worked as one, learning each other's strengths and weaknesses in real time. The first shots came as the fleet fired warning bursts across the outer shields. Ethan and Lucas kept calm. "Do not panic," Ethan said. "We are defending, not attacking. Our goal is protection, not destruction." Kelari energy shields flared, absorbing damage and stabilizing human systems. Humans moved in tandem, adjusting deflectors and repairing minor breaches. The attackers expected fear, confusion, or surrender. Instead, they found a settlement organized, coordinated, and unafraid. Outside, Nilu and other Kelari children watched from safe windows, their eyes wide. Ethan stood nearby, quietly explaining. "They may shoot, but we are strong together. Nothing can take this from us unless we let it." Hours passed. Small skirmishes occurred as the Council ships tested the defenses, firing precision shots at power generators. Lucas led shuttles to divert energy, while Ethan rerouted shield power to absorb the impact. Emma treated minor injuries immediately, moving between stations and providing comfort to anyone in pain. Kelari hovered nearby, assisting and observing, learning how humans handled danger with calm determination. At one point, a Council fighter broke through the outer shield. Lucas engaged it, using evasive maneuvers to prevent damage. The Kelari applied their energy technology to push the craft away, creating a protective bubble around human defenses. Together, humans and Kelari successfully repelled the intruder without firing lethal weapons. It was a moment of triumph, a proof that their cooperation could stand against fear and violence. Inside the settlement, Ethan met with Vila and other elders. "You see," he said quietly, "you do not have to fight to protect life. Your knowledge, your presence, your courage, that is enough." Vila tilted its head, hums of understanding filling the quiet chamber. "We have learned, humans do not leave those in need." As night fell, the Council fleet attempted a full assault, expecting submission. Instead, the settlement's defenses held. Shields flared, energy systems shifted, and civilians were safe in hidden shelters. Ethan coordinated every move, his voice calm but firm. Lucas piloted shuttles with precision, keeping attackers off balance. Emma moved among the medics, ensuring every injury received care. Kelari hovered in corridors, monitoring energy flows and guiding civilians safely. The battle continued through the night. Council forces grew frustrated, unable to break the defenses. They underestimated the quiet strength of humans and the Kelari's intelligence. Slowly, they began to retreat, confused by the unity and efficiency of the settlement. They had expected fear and surrender, but instead found courage, coordination, and compassion. By dawn, the fleet had withdrawn. The settlement was safe, though exhausted. Ethan walked among the shelters, checking on humans and Kelari alike. Nilu approached him, holding a small crystal that glowed softly. "We are safe," Nilu whispered. "Yes," Ethan said, smiling gently. "And we will stay safe together. Nothing can change that if we do not allow it." Emma moved beside him. "They learned something," she said softly. "The Kelari now understand courage, and the humans have shown them protection without aggression." Vila hovered near them, humming softly. "We see now," it said. "We are not alone. Humans are our allies, our protectors, our friends." Lily Brooks walked toward them, carrying fresh water for the Kelari. "They are learning to trust," she said, "and they are learning hope." "That is stronger than any fleet." Ethan looked up at the sky, where the Council ships had vanished beyond sensors' reach. "We have shown them," he said quietly. "Strength is not in weapons or numbers. Strength is in standing together, protecting those who cannot protect themselves." Over the next days, the settlement repaired minor damage, strengthened systems, and welcomed Kelari families into more permanent homes. The children continued to play, the elders observed with growing trust, and humans and Kelari alike learned the value of cooperation. Laughter and hums filled the settlement, a quiet celebration of survival and unity. Ethan often walked alone at night, looking at the stars. He thought of the galaxy beyond, of the Council and their judgment, and of the fleets that might return. But here, in this small place, humanity had proven something greater. They had chosen to protect the helpless, to stand firm even against fearsome forces. Lucas joined him quietly. "Do you think they will come back?" he asked. "Maybe," Ethan replied. But it does not matter. We have already shown that we do not fear them. We have shown the Kelari that they can trust. That is a lesson that cannot be erased. Vila floated beside them, its glow soft and steady. We have learned courage, it said. We will not forget. And in the settlement, humans and Kelari worked together, side by side. Shields hummed with energy, gardens flourished, children played, and elders observed with calm pride. The council may have tried to test them, but the quiet unity of humans and Kelari proved stronger than fear, stronger than threats, stronger than the galaxy's attempts to divide them. Ethan watched Nilu and other children running through the fields, laughing with humans. He realized that the true victory was not in defeating a fleet, but in protecting life, teaching trust, and creating a home where all could belong. As the sun rose over the distant hills, the settlement shone like a small beacon. Humans and Kelari had survived the first attack. They had learned to work together under pressure, to trust, to protect, and to persevere. The bond between the two species was stronger than ever, and the lessons of courage and unity would guide them through whatever the galaxy sent next. In the quiet of the morning, Ethan whispered to himself, "We did not just defend them, we taught them hope, and hope is stronger than any fleet." And with that, the settlement came alive again, not with fear, but with life. Humans and Kelari together, side by side, ready for whatever came next, knowing that together they could survive anything. The settlement was quiet in the morning light, but the humans and Kelari felt the aftershocks of the council's retreat. Ethan Cole walked through the main square, observing the quiet calm. Children played under the soft sun, their laughter mixing with the gentle hums of Kelari voices. The battle had tested them, but it had also strengthened the bond between the two species. Lucas Grant checked the sensors, ensuring that no council ships were near. "We're clear for now," he said, "but they could return." "Let them come," Ethan replied firmly. "They will find us ready, united, and unafraid." Emma Carter moved among the Kelari families, checking on minor injuries and ensuring that food and water were plentiful. The medics worked efficiently, and even Kelari volunteers had begun assisting. Vila, the elder who had grown close to Ethan, hovered beside them, observing the calm coordination. "We have learned much," Vila said softly, its voice melodic. "Your people protect life even when threatened. This is remarkable." "It is who we are," Ethan said. "We protect those who cannot protect themselves. That is our choice." The council's retreat had created ripples across nearby systems. Whispers spread. Humans had stood against the council, protecting a race they had no obligation to defend. Other species began to watch carefully. Some admired the humans' courage, while others remained skeptical. The Kelari observed these reactions with curiosity. They had been exiled, judged unfairly, but here, humans had shown them a new way of life. As days passed, the settlement began to grow. New shelters were built, gardens expanded, and workshops flourished. Humans taught the Kelari to grow food in human soil systems, while the Kelari shared their knowledge of energy management and delicate electronics. The two species worked side by side, learning from each other, building trust through cooperation rather than words. Ethan spent time with the Kelari children, teaching them simple games and encouraging curiosity. Nilu and other children learned quickly, laughing as they tried human sports and creative crafts. In return, humans learned to appreciate the Kelari's unique abilities, the way they could sense energy flows, manipulate light, and navigate delicate machinery with precision. Each day was a lesson in mutual respect. Lily Brooks worked tirelessly to create comfortable homes. She added small gardens, soft lighting, and quiet spaces for reflection. Kelari elders observed, their eyes wide with wonder. They had never experienced such care and thoughtfulness. Here they were not guests or prisoners, they were family. One evening, Ethan gathered the Kelari elders for a quiet meeting. Vila floated beside him. "We have seen courage," Vila said. "We have seen protection. Humans risked themselves for us, and we are learning trust. We wish to stay not as guests, but as part of your people." Ethan's heart swelled. "Then you are welcome," he said softly. "Stay, learn, live, and grow with us. You are part of this settlement, part of humanity's choice to protect life. This is your home." The elders hummed softly, a sound of deep gratitude. For the first time in their lives, they had a place where they belonged. The council had cast them out, judged them unfairly, but here, humans had given them something priceless: trust, safety, and choice. News of the settlement's success spread. Humans and Kalari began to communicate with nearby systems, sharing their story quietly. Some species were inspired. They asked questions, learned how humans and Kalari had survived together, and considered the possibility of alliances based on trust rather than fear. The settlement became more than a refuge. It became a symbol of hope and cooperation in a galaxy that often chose suspicion over care. One morning, Ethan walked through the central garden. Kalari and human children ran together, weaving around flowers and pools of water. Vila hovered nearby, watching with pride. "We see now," it said. "Life can be protected even when others abandon it. This is new." "Yes," Ethan replied. "This is new. We choose to protect, to stand together. That choice is stronger than fleets or laws. It cannot be taken away." Lucas and Emma joined him. Lucas looked at the children and smiled. "They are learning to laugh again," he said. "That is a kind of victory no fleet can take." Emma nodded. "And the elders have found peace. They are no longer afraid." That is another victory. As the days turned into weeks, humans and Kalari built permanent homes, schools, and workshops. Children learned together, playing, laughing, and exploring. Adults worked side by side, sharing knowledge and teaching skills. Trust grew not from laws or treaties, but from daily acts of care, cooperation, and respect. Ethan often walked among the children, observing their curiosity and joy. Nilu approached him one day, holding a small glowing crystal. "For you," Nilu said, its words careful but clear. Thank you," Ethan replied, kneeling to accept the gift. "You have taught us too. You have taught humans about trust, patience, and hope. We will keep this safe just as we keep all of you safe." Vila floated near, watching. "We have found home," it said softly. "And humans are our family." Ethan smiled, feeling a deep sense of satisfaction. The settlement was no longer just a refuge. It was a community, a place where two species had learned to coexist, to care for each other, and to stand together against fear. One afternoon, a human ship arrived with supplies. The captain greeted Ethan and Lucas, noting the thriving settlement. "We've heard of what you've done," the captain said. "Protecting the Kalari, standing against the council, it is remarkable." Ethan nodded. "It is not about us," he said. "It is about choice, about protecting those who cannot protect themselves. That is what humanity can do and what we have done together with the Kalari." As the sun set, the settlement glowed with soft lights. Humans and Kalari worked together, prepared for whatever might come from the galaxy, but confident in their unity. The children laughed and played, elders hummed quietly, and adults taught, learned, and cared for one another. Ethan stood on a hill overlooking the settlement, watching the scene. Lucas joined him. "Do you think the council will ever understand?" Lucas asked. "Maybe," Ethan said quietly. "Maybe not, but it does not matter. We know the truth. We know what is right. We have chosen to protect, to care, and to create a home. That is enough." Vila hovered beside them, glowing softly in the fading light. "We have learned courage, trust, and hope," it said. "Humans have given us life again. We will not forget." Ethan looked at the Kalari children running through the gardens, at humans and Kalari working together, at the quiet peace that had settled over the settlement. He realized that this was more than survival. It was proof that even in a galaxy filled with fear, prejudice, and power, choice, courage, and care could create something stronger than any law or fleet. Over the following weeks, humans and Kalari continued to grow their community. New families arrived, either humans seeking to join the settlement or Kalari escaping persecution. Each was welcomed with open hands and gentle guidance. Schools taught both languages, gardens flourished with new crops, and workshops hum with shared knowledge. The settlement became a living proof that coexistence, cooperation, and compassion could overcome fear and suspicion. Ethan often reflected on the journey. The Kalari had been abandoned, judged unfairly by the galaxy. The council had tried to control, to intimidate, and to punish. But humans had chosen differently. They had chosen to protect, to teach, and to stand together. That choice had changed lives, created trust, and forged a new future. One evening, Nilu and other children gathered around Ethan and Vila. They laughed, played, and showed small gifts of gratitude, stones, plants, and tiny glowing crystals. Ethan accepted each gift with a smile, feeling the depth of the bond that had grown. Vila hummed, a sound of peace and understanding. The Kalari had found home, and humanity had shown what it meant to care without expectation. As the stars rose over the settlement, Ethan whispered to himself, "We have done what the galaxy would not." We have chosen life, trust, and hope, and that choice will live far longer than any law, any fleet, or any fear. The settlement glowed softly under the starlight. Humans and Kalari together, children laughing, elders humming, adults working, learning, and caring. It was more than a home, it was proof. Proof that even when the galaxy cast some out, humanity could take them in, protect them, and help them belong. And in that belonging, in that simple act of choice and courage, the future began, not just for humans or Kalari, but for a galaxy that might one day learn that kindness and unity are stronger than fear and power. Ethan looked out over the settlement one last time that night. Nilu ran past, laughing, with human children chasing behind. Vila hovered nearby, glowing softly. The adults moved through workshops, gardens, and homes, each small act of care building the foundation of a new life. Ethan smiled. The galaxy had cast them out. Humanity had taken them in. And together, humans and Kalari had built a place where hope, trust, and life could thrive.